D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I just finished the episode, the season finale of The Last of Us, and my reaction at this exact moment is wah, wah, wah. I mean, you guys, I want to be honest, this episode, like, I don't know, maybe it was because I felt like it was kind of rushed a little bit, and that's why I don't care for this ending. And maybe because people that I talked to who had played the game, they just kept saying, "Oh, it's like the best ending ever." And to me, I was just like, I don't really see that, like it was fine, but it like the best ending ever. I don't know, man. But at the same time, there was some very good acting, especially the actress that did this in the first couple of scenes or whatever. And I don't know, like I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch the cutscene movie now to really get the feels of it and everything. And I a small piece of me wonders if maybe I'm, I should have watched the cutscene movie before I watched this season, because I'm not gonna lie, this season has been a little boring. There's no action, and the small pieces of action that we've got are just too small or too little, to really be all like, oh my gosh. And I don't know, man. Like I don't know. The show is very well written. I want to say that it's very well written, and the acting is very good. Anybody that wants to do like writing, I say study this show, because the writing on this show is good. It's just the problem with the writing is that the people writing this did not realize that you need to have certain things in every single episode to really get everyone excited about it. And for me personally, I think that one thing that was lacking was action, and this episode did not deliver in any way, shape, or form. And overall, the show did not deliver. The only episode that I felt was really action packed to the point where I was satisfied was episode 5. Yeah, I'll do a season 1 review, but I mean, if I have time, I'll do a collab. Those are always easier. But I really like this season finale just didn't hit for me as well as much as I thought it would. And maybe it was better for you, but I just I don't know. Yeah, I just felt like I stayed up and I was like, oh, that's what I stayed up for. I mean, I guess whatever. All right. In saying that, let's get started on this breakdown. I don't know when this is going to go up. It might go up tomorrow. Right now it's Sunday night. So, okay. All right. Before I do, though, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right. Now, so after I said that, let's get started on this. All right, so the breakdown. It starts off with this woman who's running through the woods. Now, was wondering, is she running from Fedra? Is she running from an infected? What's going on? And I can't remember I don't know the name of the actress's name, but she's fantastic in this episode. So she gets to this farmhouse, this nice little farmhouse, and she goes in and she's like, hey, I'm here. And I'm like, oh, well, whoever you were looking for isn't here. Okay. She locks the door. She goes upstairs. Okay. She puts a chair in front of the door, and then she plops down, and then she's ready to give birth. Now, I was watching this with my wife, and my wife was like, I do not envy her. I was like, right. Because, giving birth does not look like fun. And she pulls out her knife, and you can tell that I knew right off the bat that this was Ellie's mom. Okay. And she's getting everything ready, and then somebody comes as her water breaks and everything, and then somebody's coming up the stairs, and they're like, smashing at the door and everything, and it's an infected woman. So I'm assuming that it's whoever she was talking to before, and she stabs the infected to death. And then while she's doing that, she had given birth to her daughter, Ellie, and she sees that she's been bitten by the infected, and I was like, oh man, that sucks. So now she cuts the umbilical cord, and she sees her daughter. And I'm going to be honest with you, as like, oh, look at that little nugget. Like watching this, I told my wife it's so funny because I was like, I want another baby. Like, I love being a parent. If you're a parent, you understand. If you're not a parent, become a parent if you can. It's really, I promise you, there is nothing negative about being a parent. Yeah, they drive you mental, but at the end of the day, it's worth every second. I promise you. So she's staring at her daughter, and let me just tell you right now, this brought back memories of when my daughter was born. It was so great. I loved holding her. She was so little and perfect. They're all little and perfect, but yeah. Anyways, I did enjoy this part just because I like babies. I like babies. Look at that little nugget. Oh, I want to squeeze her cheeks off. She's perfect. She's perfect. So she's looking at her, and this reminded me of the episode with Ellie and what was her girlfriend's name? Best friend, whatever. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I'm really bad with names, you guys. But this is the first time she's meeting her daughter, and this is the last time she's going to see her daughter because she's only got, I think it's 22 hours before you change if you've been bitten on the leg. And I was like, man, I really feel bad for her. I really do. But so she starts to mess with her or whatnot. And then we get the intro. Hold on, let me skip past this and everything. And then we get the fireflies, and they come up on this house, and it's been locked. And I was like, so then they go around and they find a window that's been broken into. And that made me think, because at first I thought maybe it was the person that she was going to meet that was the infected. And now I'm all like, okay, maybe the infected broke into the house and that's what attacked her. And that's who she was running from. So she goes up, and this is Marlene. Marlene. I'm just going to call her Marlene because I think that's her name. And she finds her, and she hasn't turned just yet. And she's like, hey, I cut the umbilical cord before I got bit. And she's like, I cut it beforehand. And she's like, how long have I known you? And she's like, all our lives. And she's like, all right, so this is what you're going to do for me. You're going to take my daughter back to Boston, and then you're going to kill me. And I was like, man, I was like, how hardcore is that? Like, the whole time watching this part, I was all like, could I do that? Could I kill a best friend? And just, but at the same time, I'm all like, she's infected. She's going to either infect other people or possibly attack me. So I'm like, maybe I could do it. I don't know, but it was very hardcore. And so she picked, apologies. I'm tired and we lost an hour. So back off. And I got to get up in like 6 hours, 5 by the time I'm done with this. Anyways, so she's like, I'll take her to Boston, but I'm not going to kill you. And she walks in, and she's like, please, and everything. And I was like, man, just do it, dude. She's begging you. So she gives the baby to this dude who is a total douche. She's all like, cover her ears. He does not cover her ears. And she goes in there and she shoots her best friend, and the baby cries. And I'm like, yeah, you didn't cover her ears, douchebag. So Ellie this baby is immune. Okay. And I have thoughts on this whole thing, and I want to talk about that at the end when we get down to the end of this episode. And there's Ellie, and she's obviously still reeling from the last episode where she was almost raped by David. And she's obviously still has some, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder or syndrome, whatever. And he's all like, hey, I found some Chef Boyardee. And then he's like, I found Boggle. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's great and everything. She's not acting herself. And neither is he. Can I just say, he's not acting like Joel. He felt very weird to me. And I'm like, what's going on here, dude? You're coming off very different. So then they start walking. I'm so sorry for yawning. And he's just talking, and he's like, you all right and everything? And she's like, yeah. And we get this little, this little overpass or whatnot. So they're going through this little city, and he's like, hey, and she's like, let me guess, you're going to find a skyscraper. You're going to cut through by the biggest skyscraper, and then you're going to go to the top, and you're going to figure out what's going on. And he's like, no, I found some dynamite in that RV. I'm going to blast out this wall, and then we go through. And she's like, really? And he's like, no, I'm really going to go find the tallest skyscraper, and I'm going to climb to the top and figure out what's going on. And he's like, but I had you going for a minute. And she's like, well, yeah. So they go into this not finished building, and he finds a thing. And he's like, I'm gonna boost you up. And she's all like, yeah. And he's like, do you hear me? And she's like, yeah, you're gonna boost me up. And she's obviously still distracted or whatnot because she's got stuff on her mind. And Joel's all like, all right. So he boosts her up to get that ladder down. She's like, oh, hey, as she's putting the ladder down and drops the ladder. I'm like, yo, Ellie, like, calm down, sister. Plus, a small piece of me thinks she didn't see whatever he saw. She's like, come on, man. And then she comes around and they find this lush area, and there's a giraffe right here. And so they're sitting here and they're feeding the giraffe. And I was like, how cute is that giraffe? I love giraffes. I love all animals and everything. I love going to the zoo. Although I know that the zoos can be problematic for some people, but I love the zoo. It's so fun. Anyways, okay. So then they feed this, and this also made me wonder, like, the animals obviously can't get infected because every animal that we've seen in this show has not been infected. So I'm all like, maybe there's something going on there and they need to figure that out to help cure / whatever this. So she comes out here and he's all like, she's like, isn't this perfect kind of thing? And they're talking about how they're going to get to the hospital and figure out this cure situation. I'm not quite sure what they say here, but whatever. Very good acting, by the way, by everybody. So they get over here and they're walking and they see this, and he talks about how, like, this is a medical center and he was in one, and this wasn't Fedra, this was the army, the straight up army. She's like, oh yeah, the guy that missed. And he's like, so he sits down and he admits to her that his scar wasn't from the one that missed, a soldier that missed. It was him. It was him that missed. He said he was right after he had lost Sarah, and he just thought, what was the point of going on? And I totally get what he's saying here. Like, I love my kids, and if I lost them, I don't know what I would do. It would just be the worst situation ever. But he obviously wanted to I'm trying to figure out how to say this, end himself. And he missed. So that's why he has the scar. And the whole time I'm like, have we dealt with the scar before? Have we talked about this? And so they talk about that there. I'm so sorry. It's so late. And so they're sitting here talking, and she tells a joke, but I can't remember what it was. Sorry, guys. And so while they're talking, they get hit with this thing, and they get knocked out. So then he wakes up in a Firefly hospital, and she's like, hey, she's like, how did you do it? How did you get her all the way across the country? I had 5 men protecting me, and I lost half my guys. And he's all like, where's Ellie at? Sorry, I'm trying to fix my earring. And so she's like, she's being prepped. Shoot. She's being prepped for surgery. She's going to have brain surgery done to get the quadriceps. Is that what they're called? I can't remember. Taken out of her brain, and they're going to create a cure. And she's like, Joel, we're going to create a cure. And Joel, he's not believing her, right? So she's all like, he's like, I want to talk to her. And she's like, So, and this guy hits him. And she's like, take him out of here. So they take him out. And right now, I just want to say right now, if I was taking Joel out, I would not have been this close. I would have been further away from him. So they keep pushing him, like, go, keep going and everything. And they get to the stairs, and they're like, why are you stopping? And he gets the gun away from the dude. He shoots the one guy, and he's like, where is she? And he's like, I ain't telling you nothing. And then he shoots that guy. And I'm all like, why? Like, come on. So then he like flips a switch, right? And he's going after Ellie, and he starts killing everybody. And I mean, this is very much an kind of action sequence. It's muted. And it's very, like, for me personally, it was very low energy. Like, I was like, okay, whatever, what's going on? He kills that guy. He just kills everybody. This guy, he shoots, but he runs out of bullets, and he kills him with a knife. And I was, like I said before, it was very low energy. So he goes into the surgical unit. Hold on. Sees the doctors in there. And he goes in and he's like, wake her up. And the doctor here, he's like, I'm not gonna let you take her. And he shoots that doctor. And then these nurses right here, all three of them, he's like, unhook her. And they unhook them. And then he picks her up and he takes her. And that doctor's dead. And me, the whole time, I'm all like, well, first off, I'm like, why didn't you kill those nurses? And I'm all like, what? I'm like, if she's the cure for the rest of the world, that's the whole thing. Is like, is the cure, is the good of the many that oversees the good of the one in this case. So, but I was like, at the same time, I was like, if this was my daughter, I would have done the exact same thing. Me and my wife talked about this afterwards. You know what's funny about my wife? My wife at the very beginning, she goes, who's that? And my wife does this. I don't know if your spouse does this, but my wife does this thing where we'll go to a movie, right? It's opening weekend, first day, first showing, right? And we'll sit down and watch the movie and she'll just go, who's that? Where are they going? Why is he angry? And I'm just like, hey, why don't we find out together? You know? And she was doing that this episode, like, what's going on here? And I'm all like, I don't know. I'm finding out with you. Okay. So he takes this down to the garage and he sees this car ready, charging and ready to go. And then Marlene pops out. And she's like, Joel, let me have her. He's like, Joel, we can cure this thing. And while she's doing all that, she puts her gun down, which is a bad choice. Always a bad choice. Never put your gun down. I would have shot Joel right off the bat if I was her. But it's very obvious that the Fireflies are dumb because they keep losing. That's the thing about the Fireflies. They keep losing. My brother watches the show and he's like, how come the Fireflies, how come they win? Never, you know? So then it cuts to him in the car. And she's in the back and she's waking up and she's like, what's happening? He's like, yeah, they had a bunch of kids like you, but they couldn't find a cure, you know? So, you know, there's no cure. You're just like the only one. And I was like, huh? And so you find out that he did shoot Marlene and he did end her and he was like, you're just going to keep coming after her. Because she's like, let me go. And he's like, you're just going to keep coming after her. And he ends her. So then he drives her back and they're driving or whatnot. And she's looking at her arm. And I think that she's looking at her arm because this made her feel special. Like, hey, I could be the savior of the world. I could be the Jesus of this world. And you know, Joel took that away from her. She could have been a martyr. You know, her name's in history books. Kind of like the astronaut lady that she was like so obsessed with, you know. She could have been her, but you know, in like sacrificial form. So then they're walking and he's right now he's doing the dumbest thing ever. I don't even know why he's doing this. He's comparing her to his daughter Sarah. Like she had a great smile. Not that you don't have a great smile. It's just you have a different smile. And she was much more girly. Not that you're girly, but you're not really girly. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? You're being weird right now. And so he brings her and hold on. So they get to the top of this little ridge and he's brought her back to I'm assuming this is the commune from what that his brother's in, Tommy is in. And so he's all like, you know, pretty good view, huh, or whatnot. And so she looks at him and she says, I want to tell you about the first time I killed somebody. The first time I killed somebody, it was with my best friend, and I can't remember her name. But we were both bitten. And she said, let's promise to stay together until we both go crazy. But the thing is, I didn't go crazy. She went crazy and I had to kill her. He's like, and then she's like, swear to me that everything you told me is true about the hospital. He's like, I swear. And she stops and she's just here and she's like, hold on. And she just goes, hold on. She's like, okay. And then it ends. And then I was like, wait, what? What? And that was the ending. And I don't know about you guys, but I was just like, okay, first off, I have some thoughts about this. First off, this ending was not the best ending ever. I don't know what the people that I was talking to was talking about, but this wasn't the best ending. Was it bad? No, by all means, no, it was not bad. Was it great? No, they really made it sound like it was just like the best ending to an anything ever. And I was like, it wasn't bad, but you hyped it up way too hardcore. And then second, I talked to my brother about this because he never played the game either. Why don't they just breed Ellie? Because her immunities will be passed on to her child, like it was kind of passed on to her through her mother. It's like if you're immune to something, like for instance, I got vaccines, and some of those immunities would have been passed down to my children. The same thing with my wife. Her immunities would have been passed down to our children through birthing. So I'm like, why wouldn't you try that also before you just decided to kill Ellie? And the same thing with the animals situation, because the animals, I'm all like, none of the animals have been infected. So that has to mean something, right? Like you just like, it just doesn't mean nothing. So I don't think that the scientists of this world really thought out every single possibility before they were just like, yep, we need to kill this kid. And then I think that Marlene not asking Ellie if she wanted to sacrifice herself for the good of humanity was a mistake. I think that she should have done that for sure. Because Ellie, in my opinion, I think Ellie would have said yes. I think she would have been like, yeah, I want to sacrifice myself to save humanity. I really think she would have. But she didn't even get that chance. So I just go and again, to me, for in all honesty, this ending was very lackluster. Like I was just not. Maybe it's the fact that in the game, it's gameplay when you're going through the hospital and you're killing all the fireflies and the doctor, and then because and the fact that it was muted, like it was just like very like you couldn't hear anything and all you could bang, 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 and everything. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to marinate on it and I'm going to do a season 1 review so that way I can really think about the things that I liked about this season and the things that I wish that they would have like either improved on or done differently. But the action sequences on their own are just really for me not a negative. It's a negative. They should have put in more action sequences, in my opinion. That's just like my number one thing. All right, you guys, I'm going to end it there. But tell me, what did you guys think about this? And is it holding true? I'm gonna find out how it ended after I'm done recording this. But does it hold true? Did it hold up to your expectations from the video game? Or was it, like, in my opinion, very lackluster and very medium? And the show overall is kind of boring. I mean, it's not bad in terms of writing. Like, the writing is good. It's just so boring. It's so boring. But yeah, tell me what you guys think about this. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next, video. You guys have a good day. Bye.